Hello and welcome to this week's episode of GameMaker for Beginners. In this week's episode we're going to be looking at how to create a platform level and how to add gravity to that platform level. And the first thing we've got to think about is gravity itself now. I'm sure all of you remember those fascinating physics lessons in school where we learnt about what goes up must come down. Gravity is simply the force that will allow our player in the platform level, when they come to the edge of an object or jump off a platform, for gravity to pull them downwards. Thus, okay. So, as we know, the most important thing about gravity is that, unless we're in outer space, which I'm sure most of our game levels won't be, is that gravity pulls us downwards. And what we have to do in GameMaker is figure out a way of setting it up so that gravity works and our player is automatically pulled downwards when there's nothing beneath them. So, for something to fall, the space beneath it must be empty. So we can see here we've got our fascinating player. I'm going to call him Manpack, and underneath there we can see the arrows pointing, and at the minute he's on the edge of a ledge. So if he tried to jump now or tried to fall, he wouldn't be able to do it because there's something stopping him. If, however, there's nothing beneath him, so the space beneath him is empty, then gravity will take over and he'll fall down. Now, for gravity to work in GameMaker, we need to get GameMaker to check that the space beneath the object, that's the player, is empty every single second of the game. So this is an ongoing thing, so every single second of the game we need to get GameMaker to just double check that the space beneath it is empty, and if it is empty, for our object to fall. Now we do this by asking GameMaker a very simple question in the step event. Now remember, the step event's something that every single second of the game it will check it over and over again. And we do that using some very simple GML, so that's GameMaker scripting language and GameMaker language. So the scripting that we're going to use, the GML we're going to use, is the question: if place underscore 3 open brackets x comma y plus 1 close brackets. So that means that y plus 1 means to check that the place beneath 1 pixel beneath the object is empty on the y-axis. So if the place 1 pixel beneath the object is free, then we set gravity to 0.7 and gravity direction to 270. So gravity there is how fast it falls, and the gravity underscore direction is the direction it moves in. So the question is, if place underscore 3 1 pixel beneath, so if 1 pixel beneath the object is free, then we set gravity to 0.7 and gravity's direction to 270. Now, it said there gravity direction. Direction in GameMaker is a bit different to what you'd expect. The default direction is 0, obviously, 0 degrees, but in GameMaker 0 degrees is over here on the right hand side, 90 degrees is up above, 180 is there, and 270 is there. So those are the degrees and the directions that you need to know for GameMaker. So the important thing there is, if we want to make our object fall downwards, then we need to tell it that the gravity underscore direction is 270, because that is straight down. Okay, so let's have a look at how we do this in GameMaker itself. So let's load up GameMaker here. So I've got a couple of very simple objects here. I've made not objects, a couple of very simple sprites even. I've got my avatar sprite, which is a very simple yellow ball, and I've got a floor sprite, which is just a black block. Okay. So the first thing we do is we're going to make our objects. So let's make our avatar object. We'll set the sprite to avatar sprite, and I'm just going to call it avatar obj for avatar object. And the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create a step event. And if we go add event and then step up here, and we're just going to choose step, so every step of the game. Now over here in control we have a code section. Now the first code thing is what we want to drag over, and that's just our standard coding window. Now this is open, this is where we can start to type in our GML, our code. Now the code you're going to need is on the YouTube page. I've put it in the description, and it's also, if you're doing this on my course, then it's also on the course Moodle. You're going to need to copy and paste that over. The first bit of code, and I've got it down here, is the one we've just looked at. So if place 3 x y plus 1 gravity 270. So copy all of that over. So I'm going to copy that there, and I'll talk you through it as we copy it. So I'm going to paste that in. And the way this works is, if the place beneath the object is free, then set the gravity to 0.7 and the direction to 270, so straight down. Else, so otherwise, if it's not free, in other words, set the gravity to 0, so no gravity, and we keep the gravity direction at 270 straight down. But gravity 0 there. So if it's empty beneath us, so 1 pixel beneath us, then gravity is 0.7 and the direction is down. Otherwise, there is no gravity, gravity is 0, and the direction is still down, but it doesn't matter if gravity is 0. And likewise, if place free x minus 5, so if the place free to the left of the player, if there's nothing to the left of the player, and we're pressing the left button on the keyboard, so and keyboard check vk_left, left, then set the x speed to 5. If the place x plus 5, so to the right of the player, is free 5 pixels, and we're pressing the right key, then move us at a speed of 5 over that direction. Likewise, here we go, if place free above us and we're pressing up, then set the vertical speed to -8 so we jump up. So that's what we've done there. We've added in some very simple gravity. We've said if there's nothing beneath us, then make us fall at this particular speed and in this direction, straight downwards. Otherwise, if there is something beneath us, don't make us fall, set gravity to 0. And it's also left and right as well, it's added in there. So let's click OK. So that's our avatar object. Now we're going to make our wall object over here. So we've got our floor sprite, and we call it floor obj. Remember, don't name it the same as your sprite because then it won't work. And we're going to click solid there and click visible, OK. And we're going to go back into the avatar, click solid on him, and then we're going to add another event, and this event is going to be a collision event, and this is going to be what happens when we collide with the floor. So go collision and floor object, and once again we're going to go back into control, go back to the code section, drag across the left handmost icon to add in some more GML, GameMaker language scripting, and I've got a second bit of code for you to add in here. And this just tells us what to do if we collide with the wall. And this piece of coding, once again, will be on the YouTube page, and it'll also be on the Moodle page if you're doing this as part of my course. And this simply tells us what to do. In the event that the avatar collides with the wall, we're going to move to contact, so I move to be flush against the wall. Okay, and we're going to set the vertical speed to 0. So if we hit the floor, we stop falling, basically. So, and let's go back in and let's paste that in there. So move to contact, so move to be nice against the object, and set our vertical speed to 0, so stay where we are, and we're going to tick OK. There we go. So there's our avatar object. Two simple events, a step event telling us how we should act if there's something beneath us, and how we should act if something's not beneath us, and how we should act if something's to the left and we're trying to press the left keyboard button, and something to the right and we're trying to press the right keyboard button, and what to happen when we collide with the floor. So let's create a very simple room here. We'll go create room, and we will, oh dearie me, there we go, I made a bit of a faux pas there. Oh dear, delete this. There we go. Very simple floor, and I'll just make it so that I think we'll start the player off up at the top so we can see how this works in a sec. There we go. And there we go. And excellent. So there's our walls, and now I'm going to add in the avatar. So it's just as we would a normal level. There he is. And I'm going to click tick button. Oh, it's in those instances outside of the room. Yes, you can remove those. So let's give this a test now. If all has worked as it should, then I should be able to play my little level now, where I should be able to move left to right. I should be able to jump up, and if I jump up and there's nothing beneath me, I'll fall, and if I move off the edge of a platform and there's nothing beneath me, I'll fall, but as soon as I hit the floor, I'll stop falling. So left and right seems to be moving, pressing the up key, and I'm jumping. Now let's see what happens when I walk off the edge. Cross your fingers and toes, and gravity takes hold. There we go. So that was all without me. There we go. Wonderful. There we go. So, and alas, I can't jump up that far. Okay, so that's our basics. Now, let's have a look at tweaking some of those settings. As we can see at the minute, when I'm pressing up on my keyboard, I'm jumping up a little, but I'm not quite happy with how far my character can jump. I want my character to be a bit more superpowered, so I want him to be able to jump onto this last little ledge over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of my preview, and we're going to go back into the avatar object, back into the step event. We'll go back into the coding under the step event, and we're going to tweak some of these settings. So, the first line, if place 3, x, y plus 1. So this is what to do. If there's nothing beneath us, we set the gravity to 0.7, direction 278, that's fine. What we want to do is go down to the second line, line 2, if place 3, and scroll along, and one is if, exclamation mark, place under 3, underscore 3 is x, y plus 1, and keyboard check VK up. So if I'm pressing the up button, and there's nothing there, the V speed, that's the vertical speed, so how fast my player is moving vertically, is set at the minute to -8. Now, let's superpower him a little bit, so I'm going to delete the 8, and instead I'm going to write in, we'll go for 15, just so we can see the difference. So I've set my vertical speed now to 15, which is higher. So, when I press the up button and I go to jump, hopefully now, I should be able to jump a little bit higher, or a fair bit higher to be honest. So I'll just quickly compile this and we'll preview the level. So, once again, in my game level, can move left to right, I'm moving left to right, I'm falling down. Here's the moment of truth. Now, before, I could only really jump just over one of these humps. Now when I press the up button, I want to be able to jump a fair bit higher. There we go. So, fantastic. So now, oh, look at that. Madness, madness. So now my player can jump a lot higher, and as you can see, the player's been able to jump up onto this little ledge that he wasn't able to before. And that's because we've tweaked the code to change the vertical speed, that's the V speed, when we press the up button. And we've raised the V speed from 8 to 15, so we can jump higher. So let's come back out, and we'll have a look at tweaking another little bit. If we go back into the avatar, back into the step event, back into the code, and if we scroll back across, so we've got line 2, and at the end of line 2 it was under there if place 3 and keyboard check VK up. There's our V speed, our vertical speed, there you go, equals -15, so we set that a bit higher. That was quite good. And now what we can do as well is we can also we can change the how the speed of our left and right using these here, so we could move those up from 5 if we wanted, but I'm actually quite happy with that, so we'll leave that. There we go. Fantastic. So have a go, try and make yourself an interesting level, try and add some good platforms in there and some good jumps, and tweak the V speed. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing some of your levels. Thanks for tuning in, and next week we'll be looking at some more of our platformer series of GameMaker for beginner tutorials. Thank you very much.